a very big field maple. It has been with me for a long time. I've never really worked on it. Main reason is because of big cuts that are here in the top. And slowly but surely I'm getting sick and tired of caring for it. So I'm going to defoliate it, I'm going to prune it back, I'm going to wire it out, I'm going to let it reshoot and see whether it becomes a better bonsai. Then I'm also going to look at some of these cut sides and see whether I can do anything to make them any better. I don't think so. Yep, that's in this video. The root base is very nice and wide and flat, and I've showed it I think 2 years ago in a video. I'll pop it in right now. This is now ready to go back into the pot. I am going to put the piece of wood below it again. I'm not going to tie any roots down in this situation. Keep in mind that this is the product of several years of work. You cannot just go and cut off all your roots. Doesn't that look really great? So the base of this tree is really good. There are several ways to defoliate, and here there's little buds in the elbows of these leaves, and that's why people typically say be very careful and just cut the petiole, I think it is called, instead of just pulling it off. But I'm in a hurry. New buds will form. This was actually too rude. Everything has come off. That was no good. Joking aside, of course, going with the leaves is much better. Then the petioles will stay in place. And you're actually just removing the leaves. And the little buds that sit in the elbows stay in place. This is not a great way of defoliating a well-developed tree, but for something that you're developing in the middle of summer, this is a way. And why am I defoliating? Well, basically just so I can see what I'm doing. The nice thing about this time of year is that the tree will respond very quickly to any changes that you put in place. So I am expecting, after wiring and pruning, this tree to be back in full leaves, maybe in 4 weeks' time. And at the same time I can see what I'm doing. Of course I could have styled it over winter, but I just didn't think of doing it. This is a twin trunk, and the tallest trunk was thinner than the shorter trunk, and for that I've let 2 branches grow out. Now in the current styling I'm going to remove it because they also should not be overly thick, and with this I create a lot of light in the tree straight away. With the leaves removed, it's very clear that there's a very big cut side here, and there's a cut side here, and this cut side was doing strange things. I filled it up and this putty never really worked. So I'm taking all this putty out now. You see here, big cuts do close over for this species. But somehow this one, it just didn't pick it up. There we go. And of course on one side it has grown over and holds it back now. Right. Now if we look at the tree we see a few things. Well, first of all what we see is there's a lot of weeds here, which I should remove. But also there's some stalks like this coming straight from the bottom of the trunk. And these I don't want or need, and they're actually not pretty on the tree. So I'm going to go around and remove everything that sits on this lower part of the trunk. Then here between the 2 trunks there should not be any branches coming out of the trunk, because typically this is a very dark place. Nothing can grow there. And this one I'll keep for now because it doesn't go in between, it actually goes across the trunk. And I'm not sure yet whether this is the front, which will hide part of the cut sides, or if I take the other side. I think this is a better front. What do you think? Anyway, this I need to remove. That I need to remove. I'm going to remove these little things and fill it up with cut paste. Now the question, as said, is this the front or is this the front? If I take this as the front, then I don't have any lower branches coming towards me. If I turn it around, however, I have a lot of good branches here also coming towards me. This I can probably still wire in this direction. And now I really have this embrace that I'm looking for in a bonsai. This one is in a nice position, this is in a nice position, this is in a nice position. This one, however, goes vertical. I could consider wiring it in, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to remove it like this. And I'll do this throughout the tree. Everywhere where there's a vertical branch going up that I can't wire in place for later use, I'm just going to remove it to thin out. There's so many branches on this tree. And this one I'll have to see. This might actually become a new leader or a sacrifice to help fill that one up. That would mean that this one in the back can go short. This one is another nice sacrifice branch, adding a little bit of movement, flattening it up. So the one here in the back I'm going to remove. Here is another branch that comes from a knuckle on the back. Can go. This one a little bit longer because we're lower down. This one about this length. Just by pruning I've created a more interesting tree. Almost at the top, this branch is quite heavy and it has grown this long cane. But there's nice refined smaller branches all around it. So I'm going to remove the whole cane. It's a sad thing because it is a lot of length, but I'm going to remove it completely. That way these smaller branches can take over. And here there's one going down and one coming to the side, and the one going down is gone. This one I will wire down. And the same here on the other side. There's two small branches and there's this cane. And the cane actually is not really needed. I mentioned this was going to be a sacrifice. So I'm taking a bit of 2mm aluminium wire. I'm anchoring it to the other branch that's in the top here. So I can also give this a little bit of shape and it's not completely straight. Just like that. And this, of course, it doesn't have to be neat because this is going to be cut off at some point, but it does help me to remember, oh yeah, don't cut this. This is actually a sacrifice and I want this to grow as tall and as strong as I want. Now what happens? This starts fattening up, then this whole wound area feeds this. So these edges hopefully will start swelling up and grow over this. Same for this one, I don't really need to wire it up because it is already up. Now here you have a nice branch with two nice thin side branches and also one of those long canes. And I'm just going to remove this cane so that I continue building with these shorter ones. This one and this one need a wire. And I'm going to wire them both with the same piece of wire. So over it, around it. And once this is anchored here in place, I can go underneath this one and over it. And this way they are anchoring each other. I can now bend this branch without interfering with that branch and the other way around. Down from here and up here, so that from the front it is a reasonable branch. This gets to shoot up so it can get a little bit thicker, and the same here with this branch. And I want this also to come forward a little bit, up. Always a bit awkward if you just have one branch, but what you can then always do is find another branch, loop your wire around and then anchor it, for instance at the side branch, on the other branch. And then as you come down, I like to go across and come up around the branch and then just wire it out as normal. Now there's a stump here in the back and there's a stump here. Both of them, I said, need to be removed, but this is the first side branch from the stump. And actually, if I now look at the design of the tree, it would not be bad to have a branch growing into this direction. I want to wire this eventually, but I also want to remove this stump. And I think I'm going to wire it first, so I'm taking it from the inside out, going around the trunk. So attach this well. I know that I'm not going to be able to wire it at the base. So now it's anchored and I can fully wire it out. If I do this after I work on this wound, there's a very big risk of it breaking out. Now I said I wanted it to go into up and backward direction, something like this. Now this is set and I can now start working this and removing part of this stump. Now I'm leaving a little bit more here at the connection so it doesn't tear off. But at this side I can go quite deep already, removing most of the wood. I guess that should do it. This of course is prone to drying out and I want this to heal as quickly as possible. So what do? With that done, time to move down. And to reduce lumps, make sure that you're really all the way down so this is quite smooth. And then a place like this, I really do use cut paste to make sure it doesn't dry out. And that way it aids in the cambium recovering and starting to close over the wound. That is a very different tree now. And I said probably about 4 weeks before this starts sprouting again. It's now the second last week of May. Mid-June would be a good time to have another look at this tree and see how it has responded. This is a field maple. Field maples are very, very strong trees. So I am just going to put this back into full sun. And actually I am not too unhappy with the looks of the trees now. You can see this trunk is still marginally thicker than this one, but the sacrifice branches have helped to catch this one up because it was as thick as this here at the base. Right, 14th of June. And if you look, it is budding everywhere. And now it is time to start selecting because I am getting lots of buds at the same point. And I don't want 10 or 15 buds at the same point. Here you see this big side branch and there is budding happening here on the inside of this elbow. And I'm removing all of that. Then I look here at the end. There's of course this original bud. But as you can probably hopefully tell, there's lots of buds around it as well. Let's remove all these buds around it and just leave this one and the older one that is there. And then I'm just gently pushing it away. Here there's an external angle bud coming out, so I don't need a second one here either. And one is high and one is low, and the low one is also gone. Then this whole cluster here I can just thin out. So there's one coming to the outside, but I already have one here, and I'm going to remove this one. One to the side is okay, but these are 3. So removing 2 of them. So what I'm now left with is a bud there, a bud here, a bud here, here a sprout, here at the bottom one, and one going up. And that's what I'm going to do throughout the tree. And of course there's lots of buds here on the trunk itself, and I remove all of these as well. I don't need any more branches on the trunk itself. Now the second weekend of July, and there's a couple of realizations. First of all, I need a bigger backdrop. So far I've been making videos mostly on my smaller trees. Now that I get to the bigger trees, the backdrop is becoming an issue. But also, this tree is growing like crazy. It is already time to start thinning again. And what am I thinning? I'm not thinning the lower branches. These all can expand, they can fatten up because I want nice fat lower branches for a thick trunk. However, the top of a tree always grows faster than the bottom of a tree, so we need to keep that in check. So here you see these long sprouts, they're starting to push. I'm going to cut those back to the first leaves because I don't really need extensions there, and I'm going to thin out all the duplicates, triplicates that I get on these branches. And do realize that top and bottom is not an absolute, right? So these are top branches, and in fact I see that the wire is starting to bite in. Here I can start off with just clipping everything back to the first 2 leaves. Here this is a little bit further down, but I'm also still removing everything up to the first 2 leaves. That will clean up the whole tree a little bit and gives me insight in what I still have left. Here you see this wire has already started to really bite in, or actually the branches started to swallow the wire, which is a more accurate description of what's happening. So I need to remove this wire. And you see there's a big scar, but this branch will grow a little bit more over the season. Here there's a lot of side branches. I don't need all of these. In fact, I only need one. I'm just going to break this one out. I'm going to break this one out, and only this one I'm going to keep. And we'll see how this develops over the season. Maybe next year I'll cut it off and let the bud that sits here at the base develop more and grow out as a new branch. Now this is a nice example of a three-way split. We have the original bud that I kept and the other original little side branch that I kept, and a little bud here in the middle has sprouted and has started growing. So this needs to go. Now I have a two-way split with the side branch and another side branch coming out of here. And this actually doesn't need to come up, so I can also remove this at this point because it is quite far up in the top of the tree. Then in the background this one can also be shortened further. And this is really how I go through the whole tree to see whether there's any growth that I don't need or any leaves that are very big. Now this is nice and open and can start pushing again. And to stop it from pushing too strong, I remove the end bud. And if we zoom out a little bit, this is the area that I was just working on. One side branch, another side branch. Here I clip the top, and this is the branch that is in the back. And together this will form one nice foliage bed. Here you can very nicely see that the edges of the wound are starting to crawl over the wound itself. Underneath the cut paste, here you see the cut paste still over the callus that is forming, but slowly this is going to cover the whole wound. It's going to take a long time, but in maybe 2 years, this wound will look like this wound that I made a few years ago. You see, this is the first year, second year, and third year of healing. And also this awkward cut that I made with a very big branch that I removed. Here you see slowly scar tissue starting to form. Which is why I believe it's a very good time now to also look at this wound. You can see here the bark, there's actually space between the bark and the wood, and that's a sign that there's swelling, that there is growth lower down. So if I now deepen this out, there's a good chance that this ridge of bark that we see here and a little ridge of bark that we see here starts crawling into the space. So I'm going to deepen this out a little bit with the carving tool. And I find that adding a cut paste over it reduces the drying out of this cambium edge and therefore aids in faster healing over. And this needs to be done, of course, immediately after making the cut to really stop it from drying out. So there's no pausing here, this is just one continuous process. Now the middle, if you put cut paste over it, there is a risk of it starting to rot. I actually like to try and keep it open so it can aerate. But this is really a personal choice, I think. And with that, I think we are done for this video. The tree will now be left to grow for the rest of the season. These branches get to extend lots and lots, aiding in callusing over of these big cuts. The lower branches I'm going to let grow as well for the rest of the season and then cut back. That will help fattening up the lower branches. The top branches I'm not going to allow to fatten up. I'm going to unwire in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And after that it is just letting it grow for the rest of the season, and next year I'll have to prune back and rewire again. Keep in mind, taper is created by pruning off long stretches of branches, and the more drastic the pruning you take, and the more drastic the pruning, the bigger the cut wounds, the longer it takes to heal. However, the less you let a branch grow out, the less taper you're going to get, and the longer it takes to develop big branches. This was Jelle, growing bonsai with a field maple.